I don't know you and you don't know me, so we can talk politics without risking anything, right? Let me start by saying that for most of my life, I didn't follow politics enough to feel that any decision I made would have been the right decision. Hence, I never voted. I'm middle-aged and never voted. I just didn't feel educated enough on all the issues. Although I gained the right to vote about 6 years ago, so I could have voted for Hillary, but I didn't because I, like everyone else, was sure she'd win by a landslide. What happens when you assume, right? Anyway, I thought it was time we had a female president. Women make better leaders than men. I might be biased, but I think there's data on that.
Not some of my returns, at least it's across 34 portfolio positions. All of them came from companies run by women.
I couldn't vote when Obama was nominated, but I was thrilled when he was elected both times. And I thought it was time we had a black president. And I happened to really like him too. And I trusted, and I still do trust him. I think everything he does with good intentions. So, in my mind, I think he was the right president for us at the time. But then I asked myself, is it enough of a reason to vote simply because you like or admire a candidate? Or should we be looking at the policies behind the candidate? Obviously, that's a silly question to ask now because I think clearly policy should be first and foremost. But I think I never felt I knew enough about any of that to even talk about it. And there are still huge gaps in my understanding now, but I'm working on filling those gaps. And you can help me out if you think I'm totally missing something here. Please enlighten me. 4 years ago, I was depressed when I heard that Donald J. Trump was the new president-elect. And I didn't hear anything after that. It was like I was electrocuted and time stood still. And I was in disbelief like everyone else, wondering if there was any chance that this could all just be a nightmare that I could wake up from. Then when reality sank in, I continued to wish and hope and pray. I don't pray, but I was eager to hear of any news of his impending impeachment. And then what happened? A strange thing started to happen about 2 years ago. It was very gradual. I didn't see it coming like the frog in the hot water who couldn't feel it getting hotter. I saw a video here, a video there, I heard a podcast here, a podcast there, and then my worldview started shifting. That initial disbelief turned into tolerance eventually, and then the tolerance into acceptance, and then eventually approval of Trump as president. And I was left scratching my head like, when did this happen? I can't say exactly when, but what I can say had the biggest impact on me was learning about Uyghurs and political prisoners and forced organ harvesting. I know I'm a little behind the times, but like I said, I didn't really follow geopolitics or foreign news, anything outside of my own little bubble, and I'm embarrassed about that, but I'm learning about it now a little bit. So that, plus the whole Huawei thing and national security law, which affects all of us. Anybody who so much as thinks a negative thought about the CCP or blames them for the CCP virus, which is their fault. I know I'm no longer safe to have a layover in Hong Kong simply for saying CCP virus. But that's okay. I have no plans to visit that part of the world anyway. But that's how ridiculous the whole national security law is. It's like they're trying to reach with their tentacles all across the globe. No matter where you live, what your nationality, they want to control all of us. What we say, think, and do. I don't want to live in that kind of world. The way I see it is, I don't agree with a lot of things that Trump does. His immigration, border wall stuff is stupid. rolling back environmental protection regulations is stupid. But like with a lot of things in life, you just have to take the good with the bad. And what I do appreciate that he's done is what he's done with Huawei and TikTok and WeChat, and his stance on Hong Kong and Taiwan and the WHO, the World's Useless Organization, otherwise known as the CCP's mouthpiece. I think we can all agree that freedom and democracy is way better than censorship and dictatorship. If you don't agree, I don't need to hear from you. But any measure to protect the values of freedom and democracy, I'm all for. So here's the conundrum. I lean much more to the left than I do to the right. Ideologically, I'm anti-guns, I'm pro-gay marriage, pro-choice, and being from Canada, I'm definitely pro-universal health care. And if Sanders or Yang were on the ticket instead of Biden, I'd be voting for them instead of Trump. So that was the mistake that the Democratic Party made nominating Biden. I don't see Biden as having any interesting ideas. He's going to lead us out of the darkness. That's his idea. No, I'm sorry. I need an actual policy that I can get behind. And at least Trump is doing something about the CCP, which I can get behind. Is there anything else that should be weighing more heavily right now? I don't think so. We've got an expansionist regime over here, an undeniable genocide going on with their forced organ harvesting on innocent people. It's a genocide on innocent people who they themselves admit that these organs are not coming from regular, real criminals.
然后他那个医生跟他讲，就是说这个肾源挺好的，就是说那个他练功人家练什么功？练法轮功，就是练法轮功身体都比较好嘛，练功的想。你要给他这么一个。这种情况，我们也有这种所谓的叫不是有呼吸或者有心跳的一些东西，我们也会有。这个我们可能大概有今年到目前为止，可能这样的有10几个这样的心脏。
They themselves admit that these organs are coming from innocent people because they advertise them as clean, because they're not actually coming from real criminals. That's what they're advertising. So they want to advertise that on the one hand, and on the other side of the mouth they're going to say this is not happening. There's no question that it's happening. It's just strange that we're all aware and we're just going like... It boggles my mind that it's still going on when we have the level of awareness that we do. If you want to enlighten me on something I don't know, I'm all ears. But you don't have to tell me that Biden's a wonderful human being or that Trump is immature, vulgar, rudely arrogant. I already know that. I'm not voting based on personality, obviously. I don't think I'll change my mind on this, but I also couldn't have predicted I'd do a 180 on Trump either, so anything's possible. If I find out he's killing and eating little babies in his basement tomorrow, that'll change my mind. For anyone who's wondering, I wasn't paid to do this video. I wasn't even asked to do this video by anybody. I just wanted to highlight why the Democratic Party failed to get my vote this year. And perchance, if this message reaches them, maybe they might try a different strategy next time. Character alone isn't enough of a strategy. If I have to choose between character and policy, it has to be policy. And the last thing I wanted to say is, before you make a split-second judgment about someone for their political alignment or any other superficial thing, why not ask why that person feels the way that they do? What's motivating them? What's shaping their thoughts? Do they know about this? Do they know about that? Maybe they don't, and maybe that would make all the difference. It did for me. I learned certain things and then I changed my mind. I just think we'd get a lot further if we first seek to understand before we seek to judge. And that's all I have to say.